Drive with Ed Kirkwood on Next Level.
We've been talking about sperm donating with Greg Granger from the Monash IVF group about how there's a big shortage in certain parts of Australia. Now we've got the story of a man who is a sperm donor himself. His unusual story because he didn't go through the usual route of seeking a clinic. His name is Paul Van Ryk. Paul, thanks for coming on to the show today. How did you get involved in sperm donating?
I was asked first by some lesbian friends that I had if I would be happy to be the donor for them. This was at a time when lesbians couldn't get access to IVF. And subsequently there were other situations where lesbians who knew that I had done it once also approached me directly or through a GP friend of mine to see if I could support them in having a child as well. And then in a couple of other instances, it was either a heterosexual couple or a single woman who I knew who did not want to go through the IV clinic route, so to speak, and asked me again if I would be a donor for them. And
was it something that you were very easy to, be encouraged to do, or was there with some hesitancy that you went into this process?
No, look, there wasn't any hesitancy. When I first started doing it, I was certainly doing it as part of my kind of political activism, I guess. I was a gay man who felt committed to supporting lesbians in determining their own life choices. And the others were, as I said, friends who I trusted. And in all the situations, we had good, frank discussions about what the expectations were and what the likely demands on me would be once the child was born, different kinds of degrees of relationship they wanted the children to have with me. Always left it up to the mothers to make that decision. So no hesitations and no regrets either.
And what was the process like for you?
Look, it was, physically it was sometimes challenging.
Really? What aspects of it were physically challenging?
Well, you have to be ready to donate on demand, because this wasn't a situation where you could donate and then the clinic would kind of freeze your sperm or whatever. I would have to be ready when the women were fertile, basically to produce sperm over the next several days. And there's always kind of, they had to come and pick it up, and I had to have it ready at a certain time, and they had to rush it back. So it was kind of that way, I guess, demanding and physically kind of, taxing.
And do you know how many surrogate children you have?
I know, I'm close friends, and in fact, they see me as a dad for 5 of them. There's another one who I know exists, and then there are probably 3 or 4 who I haven't heard anything from. I think probably a child was born, but it was never part of the deal that I would know about them.
Yeah, right. Okay. And Paul, you're as a gay man, did you want to become a dad? And what was your motivation for donating sperm, or if there was any difference in motivation aside from helping your friends?
Yeah, look, as I said, in all the situations, it was basically it started off basically being about helping a friend, and then after the first 2. I kind of enjoyed the notion that there were kids. I mean, it's not like I ever I had a need to have kids, and my parents never kind of looked at me and said, well, you'll never produce kids type stuff, and there was never that pressure. But once the child was there and I was interacting with them, then the next time it was asked, it was like, yep, that's the nice thing to do, and I enjoy it. So, I do it again.
And what would you say to a young man today who's thinking of donating their sperm for similarly, benevolent and philanthropic sort of reasons?
Yeah, look. As long as you're clear about what that really, it's the mother and the child who ultimately need to be determining how the relationship goes. Because you're not you're being benevolent, as you said. Don't go in there expecting that you're going to have a long-term relationship with the kid. I always say, look, once a kid's born, it's the kid's life, and the kid needs to start making some choices, and you need to accept the choices that they make. So be prepared for maybe a bit of disappointment, but be prepared for great rewards as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much for giving us a call, Paul. A great story, and so good to hear, quite possibly for someone young who's looking to donate sperm for the right reasons. Thank you so much for your call.
Yep, no worries.
Drive with Ed Kirkwood on Next Level.